नाजरीन अस्सलाम वालेकुम। लाइव फ़ोन इन इंटरेक्टिव प्रोग्राम टेली क्लासरूम के आज के शुमारे में आपका खैर मकदम है। मैं हूं आपका मेज़बान नियाज भट्ट
और मैं हूं हुमायरा शफी। नाज़रीन आप सभी को मेरी तरफ से प्यार भरा आदाब।
नाजरीन लाइव फ़ोन इन इंटरेक्टिव प्रोग्राम टेली क्लासरूम आप दूरदर्शन की डीडी कशिर चैनल से हर इतवार सुबह 11:15 बजे से लेकर 12:15 बजे तक इन कोलैबोरेशन विद द डायरेक्टरेट ऑफ स्कूल एजुकेशन कश्मीर देख सकते हैं। और इसके अलावा
And you can also watch the repeat telecast of this show on Tuesday at about 7:30 p.m. and on Thursday at sharp 9:10 in the morning.
बिल्कुल नाजरीन, हस्ब दस्तूर आप इस प्रोग्राम में यूं देखते हैं कि हम एक क्लासरूम का एहतिमाम करते हैं जिसमें हमारे फाजिल उस्ताद एक पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक पे लेक्चर डिलीवर करते हैं और घर बैठे स्टूडेंट्स आप भी हमारे प्रोग्राम का हिस्सा बन सकते हैं। For that you can
send your questions, or if you have any kind of suggestion related to this program, then feel free to send it on our email ID, that is ddk@gmail.com and ddksrinagar@yahoo.com.
The leaves on the trees are yellow and brown, yellow and brown, yellow and brown. The leaves on the trees are falling down, falling down,
मुझे लगता है आपको ऑटम बड़ा पसंद है।
हाँ, हुमैरा ऑटम किसे पसंद नहीं है, लेकिन मैं तो इस पोइम की रिदम को एंजॉय कर रहा था। किस तरह एक लाइन को दूसरी लाइन से जोड़ा जाता है, किस तरह एक लाइन को जोड़ा जाता है, बहुत मजा आ जाता है।
जी बिल्कुल। Well, viewers, as Niyaz Bhai has already told you that today we are going to talk about poetic devices, which is one of my favorite topic from English subject. और बात करते हैं poetic devices की। पोएटिक डिवाइसेस ऐसे टूल्स होते हैं जिनका इस्तेमाल पोएम में किया जाता है और इनका इस्तेमाल करने से पोएम में एक तरह का रिदम आ जाता है एंड फीलिंग्स भी क्रिएट होती है। देयर आर मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ पोएटिक डिवाइसेस दैट कैन बी यूज्ड टू क्रिएट the mechanical and the powerful impression in the poem. And some of these devices include rhyming, repetition and इसमें syllable variation भी आता है।
जी जी। So to discuss the poetic devices, we have in our panel today our subject teacher, Mr. Ghulam Hassan War Saab, who is the lecturer presently at the Government Girls Higher Secondary School, Magam, and with us is our subject expert, Ghulam Ahmad Bhatt, who is a renowned academician at the State Institute of the Education. आप दोनों का बहुत बहुत खैर मकदम है आज के प्रोग्राम में। और हुमैरा इसके अलावा
नाज़रीन हमारे प्रोग्राम में आज हमेशा की तरह प्यारे से फ्रेंड्स आए हैं। A very welcome to all of you. नाज़रीन जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं दैट हमारे प्रोग्राम का बेस्ट पार्ट है आपके साथ इंटरेक्शन करना। आप भी हमारे प्रोग्राम का हिस्सा बन सकते हैं। आप हमें लेक्चर खत्म होने के बाद ज़रूर कॉल कीजिएगा, हमें आपकी कॉल्स का इंतज़ार रहता है। हमारी टेलीफोन नंबर्स हैं 248-1813 and 248-1832. But please add the prefix 0194 before dialing the said numbers.
क्लास शुरू होने से पहले वक्त हुआ चलता है एक छोटे से वक्फे का, फिर मुलाकात होगी वक्फे के बाद। वेलकम बैक टू टेली क्लासरूम। नाजरीन आपसे ये इस्तदा है कि दौरान क्लास हमें कॉल ना कीजिए क्योंकि हम आपकी कॉल को नहीं ले सकते हैं। आप लेक्चर गौर से सुनिए, उसके बाद सवालात कीजिए, हम आपकी कॉल्स के मुंतजिर रहेंगे। सो मिस्टर गुलाम हसन वार साहब, लेट अस स्टार्ट टुडेज लेक्चर पोएटिक डिवाइसेस।
ओके, थैंक यू। हेलो माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आई एम GH War. Today we are going to learn about some of the poetic devices in English, especially in 9th and 12th class. In 9th and 10th class, more especially, there is a poem that I've chosen for this, that is Palanquin Bearers. But before I'll directly come to the topic, let us learn something first about the poetic language. Do you feel any difference between prose and poetry? Yeah, there is a lot of difference, especially in graphism. Prose is written in paragraphs, whereas poetry is not written in that, but there are different literary terms that we generally must know. As students, you must note it down, these poetic devices, these literary terms, because these things are there used by the poets that make the poetry more effective. Let me first of all tell you what is the difference between prose and poetry, especially in graphism. Poetry is written in different stanzas, whereas in Urdu poetry, that's called a stanza is called a band, but in English that's called a stanza. One line of a poem, first line of a poem or any line of a poem, that is called in English, in Urdu, that is sher, misra, and in English that is a verse, V-E-R-S-E. Two lines of Urdu, that is a sher, but in English that is called a couplet, C-O-U-P-L-E-T. Three lines stanza, that is called a triplet. Four lines stanza, that's called as a quatrain, Q-U-A-T-R-A-I-N. Five lines stanza, that's called as quintet. 6 lines stanza, that's called sestet. 7 lines stanza, that's called septet. 8 lines stanza, that's called octave. 9 lines stanza, that's called Spenserian stanza, because there are 9 poets in that group, and this has been named as Spenserian. Then there is 10 line stanza. Can anybody tell me what is 10 line stanza called? Yes? Yes?
Decaustic.
Decaustic. Very good. D-E-C-A-S-T-I-C-H. Decaustic. And then there is 14 line stanza, that is a sonnet. And what is that called? Can anybody? 14 line stanza. Courtesan. Very good.
Courtesan.
And same is the case when we talk about other devices. For example, let me talk, when we talk about different kinds of poems. In Urdu, there is ghazal, nazm, rubaiya, masnavi, marsiya, etc. But in English, there are different kinds of poems, and these are odes, lyrics, lyrical ballads, elegies. Elegies. Do you know elegy? Yes. What is this?
So where the poet mourns someone's death or departure.
Very good. And in Urdu, that's called as marsiya. Is there anybody among you that will recite a verse of marsiya? Yes, Tabassum? Please, because we are going to discuss poetry, and this is very important for us, at least to know or to enjoy the poetic class. Yes, please, Tabassum. Any verse?
Chimorite vanatam sarjon katitho abaso gast karbala Vusht varcha bab myon imam Husaino.
Thank you very much. See, when we talk about elegy, it is mourning of somebody there. And that's, in poetry, there are different these techniques that the poets use. These poetic techniques, poetic devices, or figures of speech. These are 3 phrases used. We can use poetic devices, or poetic techniques, or figures of speech. And that's why I have chosen one of the best poems, one of the poems of class 9th for you, because most of the techniques will find in that poem. But before going to that, this is a poetic class. I would like to at least enjoy, because students must enjoy the class. You must enjoy the class. So let me at least recite one of the verses in Kashmiri, so that I could at least tell you what devices there are. And one of these verses in Kashmiri, Gulal Baag ki hilal posho, Az wala malin myon ho, Az wala malin myon. Gulal Baag ki hilal posho, Az wala malin myon ho, Az wala malin myon. Khaswini thari shimyon salo, Az wala malin myon ho, Az wala malin myon. So what do you find in this stanza, in this verse? There you can find at least 2 or 3 poetic techniques. I'll define these later on, but at least Gulal Baag ki hilal posho, it is a metaphor here in English. That is a direct comparison. When an object is given a comparison with any other thing, Gulal Baag ki hilal posho, then there is personification also. Az wala malin myon, in both these lines, both these verses, you find some of the words az wala malin myon, az wala malin myon, and this is refrain, repetition. Now, what are other devices? There is one of the most, and I'll start with a simile. With a simile. Simile, it is a comparison, where it is a poetic device where we make a comparison between one thing with another. For example, these words like, as, or sometimes then are used in these devices. I have chosen here some of these verses. Like dew, how long shall I wait for the first stroke of sun? And this is a prayer. This is a simile from prayer, the first poem in class 10th. Then, like that of a corpse, pale as a late winter's moon. Pale as a late winter's moon. These are some of the devices from the poem Snowdrop of class 9th. What is metaphor? Metaphor, it is a direct comparison where we do not use words like or as, but we directly, what we say, for example, there is a fat man. We call him an elephant. So, Bashir is very fat. He is an elephant. Mr. A, he is very brave. He is a lion. So, not like a lion, that is a simile, but here, very good. And then poets use alliteration. Do you know what is alliteration?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
So repetition of sounds or words.
Very good.
For example, the vessel shook with a shivering shock.
Very good.
Words.
Alliteration is the repetition of a consonant word or a vowel sound.
Consonant sound.
Alliteration is the repetition sound, but it should be in the first. It should be initially, used as initially. For example, it is a consonant sound, smile and smile and smile. So, sir. Then, gaily, oh gaily we glide and we sing. G and g. Initial sound, but consonant. I have my own poem written there in syllabus. I'll use that. Crow's caw and cock's crow. K, 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 K. So what is this? This is simile. This is alliteration. Sorry, this is alliteration. And here, poets use assonance. Do you know assonance?
Of a vowel sound,
Very
particularly
good.
vowel sound.
This is the repetition of a vowel sound in a verse. Then here is lightly, oh lightly we glide. I, and I. Vowel sound. And then there is one more poetic device, that is consonance. What is that?
Consonant.
And can you tell me what is consonance?
Repetition of a consonant sound.
Repetition of a
Consonant sound.
where?
In a
Anywhere
verse.
in a verse. And Gulal Bag ki hilal posho azwala malin myon l, and 4 times l has been. Why? Because this creates musical effect in the poem, in a verse. Then there is one more poetic device, that is personification. Personification, where an object is given a human attribute, human quality. For example, there comes a wind. There is a bed of flowers, and the flowers are just with that breeze moving, dancing. So dancing is actually the work of human beings. So we can say, see, the flowers are dancing. Flowers are, and these have been given human attribute, human quality. This is personification. Then there is onomatopoeia. What is this onomatopoeia? This is a poetic device that refers to the formation of words or names from sounds that resemble with the action. For example, snakes hiss, hiss, cats mew, rats squeak, tick, 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 tick of a clock. So these sounds resemble, and this is onomatopoeia in a poem. Then there are other poetic techniques like paradox, rhyme, rhythm, irony, symbols, imagery. See, let me tell you first about refrain, one of the best poetic techniques that is used in creating music in a poem. For example, what is this device? It is a recurring line or a group of lines or a phrase. Sometimes there can be only one word, even a word. For example, one of the poems that I'll inshallah demonstrate at the end, we bear her along, we bear her along like a pearl on a string. When poets use repeated sounds, repeated words, repeated phrases, one of the poems, one of the verses that I have already discussed here, told you in the earlier of the lesson, that is Az wala malin myon. So repeated sound, this gives music, and this is called as refrain. What is this? Refrain. Good. Then one of the poetic techniques, that is imagery, and it directly deals with the senses of a person that we imagine. And these imagery, these are of different kinds. Visual images there, visual that we just imagine only. Then there is sometimes color image. For example, if I say, oh, here's a person coming, he is all in white color, his turban is white, his floating beard is white, his dress is white, his eyebrows are white, he's an old man, and you see there is an image in your mind. This is visual image. And poets use these images, and there is taste image as well. So one of the poetic techniques, that is hyperbole. Hyperbole. What is the sound? What is the correct pronunciation?
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole. Can you tell me what is this hyperbole? Yes?
It's exaggeration in a poem.
This is exaggeration in a poem, like a poetic technique which refers to exaggerating or exaggeration. By this, things are represented greater or lesser. better or worse than they actually are. 10,000 saw I at a glance. You'll find these examples in 10th class. In every poem there are at least some of the poetic techniques. And this is not necessary that all the techniques you can find this is in one poem. No. But some of the techniques you can find at least in some of the poems. And a poem is not without a technique. There is at least you can find some techniques in the poem. Okay, if not all. Today I've chosen a poem where you now, because I have discussed some of the poetic techniques here, some of the poetic devices here, and I hope you would have at least understood what I told you about these devices. And I'll recite a poem here before you. This is in class 9th. See how the poem is full of these poetic techniques. Poem is, and you will later on recite with me. Lightly, oh lightly, we bear her along. She sways like a flower, she sways like a flower in the wind of her song. Lightly, oh lightly, we bear her along. She sways like a flower, she sways like a flower in the wind of her song. She skims like a bird on the foam of a stream. She floats like a loaf, she floats like a loaf from the lips of a dream. Gaily, oh gaily, we glide and we sing. Gaily, oh gaily, we glide and we sing. We bear her along, we bear her along like a pearl on a string. Softly, oh softly, we bear her along. She hangs like a star, she hangs like a star in the dew of her song. She springs like a beam on the brow of the tide. She falls like a tear, she falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride. Lightly, oh lightly, we glide and we sing. We bear her along, we bear her along like a pearl on a string. Now the poem is before you, and let us find what are the techniques used there by the poet in this poem. In the very first verse of the poem, these are of 2 stanzas, you know, and each stanza is a sestet, because this is of 6 lines. In the first sestet of the first verse, what is the poetic technique, and what is that poetic technique?
Where we use like or as.
Can you tell me what are the words used by the poet?
She sways like a flower in the wind of our song.
She sways like a flower. I see the meaning. I don't go to the meaning part, but she sways like a flower in the wind of her song. And see, one of the most important techniques, that is the connotative and denotative meaning, symbolic meaning. Here is the word wind, and it has nothing to do with its denotative meaning. It has something else. And these are the techniques used by the poet. And this is a symbolic meaning. Symbolic meaning. Then, anybody please up, what is the technique used in the second line? Can you give me the simile there?
She floats like a loaf from the lips of a dream.
The third line is, she skims like a bird. She skims like a
bird.
And it is not only the simile that you find, but see the imagery. Skims like a bird on the foam of a stream. When water floats, a bird sits on it, and there an image comes to our mind. And this is, here it creates the music as well as the image. So imagery has been used by the poet. Simile is used there. And what is the fourth? Can you find another simile?
Yes, sir. She floats like a loaf from the lips of a dream.
And she floats like a loaf. What a beautiful simile it is there. She floats like a loaf. Any other? Yes, please. Tabassum, can you give me any simile there? She falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride. See the image. One falls like a tear, Then from the eyes of a bride, दुल्हन के आंखों से जो आंसू गिरते हैं कितने कीमती होते हैं. Like, see the image given by the poet. Yes, Tabassum?
Sir, can you please explain what is the role of poetry in teaching language?
Yes, yes, that is what I'm doing with this. Okay, that's I'm doing, and my expert will at least define it in his own words, but that's what I'm doing. Here, there is one more poetic technique. Can you find any more poetic technique in it? Yes, Niyaz? Like, it is not peel, it is pearl. The word is P-E-A-R-L, pearl. What is this? Pearl. And see the beautiful image, like a pearl on a string. And is there any more, other than this simile, any more poetic technique?
She hangs like star in the dew of her song.
She
hangs like star in
hangs like a star
in the dew of
in
our
the
song.
dew of her song. See, hangs like a star, this is imagery, and this is a simile, and in the dew of our song, that means this is not the denotative meaning but connotative meaning. It is symbolic here. Okay, now the poetic techniques, there is, can you find alliteration? There is alliteration you can find. What is alliteration? Where you can find alliteration? Yes?
Gaily, oh
gaily, oh gaily, we glide and we sing. G, and G, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you give me any example of assonance from the poem? Isn't it so? Gaily, oh gaily, we glide and we, what is the sound there? I sound.
Yes, sir.
So, why these sounds are there used by, because it creates musical effect in the poem, isn't it so? Okay, is there any, and can you give me the example of consonants from the poem? Consonants?
So in the same verse, L, L, and L, L.
In the same verse, what is this?
L and L.
L, L,
L.
Gaily, oh gaily, we glide. L, L, and this is consonants. Okay, can you tell me the rhyme of the poem? Rhyme, not rhyme scheme. What are the rhyming words in the first two lines, first two verses?
Along and song.
Along and
song.
Can you give me one more or some more words like this, having same sound?
Stream and dream.
No, I am telling you not from the poem first, but tell me if it is long, along, then song, two words from you having the same sound.
Throng.
Throng, okay, good. Wrong, very good. It is correct, it is not wrong here. So, throng, wrong, song, along. Okay, what are the rhyming words from the couplet, second couplet of the poem?
Stream and dream.
Stream and dream. Okay, Niyaz, can you give me two words of the same, two words, stream, dream, same sound? Yes, please.
Cream.
Yeah?
Cream.
Cream, good. Beam.
Beam.
Even you can choose this from your poem, and you can add more words to it. Then there is the third couplet. Third couplet from the first stanza, from the first sestet. This is sing. What are the words?
Sing and string.
String. Please, two words.
Strings, a ring, wing, bring.
Good. Okay. From the last row, you please stand up or there. What are the words used in the second stanza, the middle couplet?
She springs like a beam on the brow of a tide. She falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride.
She falls like a tear from the eyes of... What are the rhyming words there? Lastly,
tide and
bride. Tide and?
Bride.
Please give me one word. White. Okay. Tide, bride and?
White.
Very good. And there is refrain also. Can you give me the refrain? What refrain is there given by the poet?
We bear her long like a pearl on a string.
Very good.
And in the second sestet, it's also we bear her long like a pearl on a string.
We bear. It is not bear. We bear her along like a pearl on a
string.
Good. This is refrain. And there is imagery. See, at least 10 techniques are there in one poem. And same is the case while we even read Urdu poetry. And let me read one of the verses here. हस्ती अपनी हुबाब की सी है, हस्ती अपनी हुबाब की सी है, ये नमाइश शराब की सी है. See, I'll translate it, decode it. This life of us is like the bubble of rainwater. As it comes to the life, it vanishes, like the bubble of rainwater. What is this? What kind of technique is this?
Simile.
It is simile. And this is tashbiyah in Urdu, isn't it? Ye numaish sarab ki si hai. This show, this is all freak. It is illusion. It is nothing else. It is just a mirage. As we go there, there is nothing. So once again, what is the technique?
Simile.
Simile. Very good. And one of the techniques, I'll just read one more verse in Urdu. Uske raksar dekh jeeta hoon, aarze meri zindagani hai. Ariz. Here it is a pun. One more poetic technique that I have not touched. This is pun. This is what we say double talk, where there are two meanings. Okay, one of the verses in Urdu I'll discuss, and you will find we will have to find what kind of technique is there. Tu shaheen hai, parwaaz hai kaam tera. Tu shaheen hai, parwaaz hai kaam tera. Tere samne aasmaan aur bhi hain. So can you tell me what technique is there?
Metaphor.
It is?
Metaphor.
What is metaphor there?
Shaheen.
Shaheen. Good. And it also gives us an image. So there is imagery. And not only that, imagery is there, metaphor is there, and as well as there is one more poetic technique. Can you tell me what is that? Yes?
Personification.
Personification. Very good. Personification. Okay, these are the poetic techniques, and you will find all these techniques in your poems, and I hope that you will at least go to your classes, go to your books. Especially, it is not that you need it in 9th and 10th class. In your coming examination, I hope that you will do good. You will find, at least you will be able to find these poetic techniques there. And in these techniques, through these techniques, you know what actually poets want to tell, what they want to, what kind of message they want to give. Why do poets use these poetic techniques? Yes?
To convey their message and beautify the poem.
Very good. This is the main thing that you have to keep in mind. What? Once again?
To convey their message and to beautify the poem.
Whatever they want to give, whatever they want that my readers should know about, to convey their message through these poems, and to create music to beautify the poems, to beautify all these verses by giving this kind of message. This is one thing. Okay? Then can you tell me any difference? What is the difference of prose there? Prose and poetry?
Yes, sir.
Once again, I'll come to this point. Yes?
Yes, sir. So if we talk about poetry, it's simply a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings.
As Wordsworth says. Good.
Yes, sir. But it conveys a much deeper idea. Whereas prose, it's simply a straightforward discourse or discussion between characters.
Very good. It is, poetry is like that of an ocean. And that's why we were just taking a journey to an ocean. And we go to find these pearls from this ocean. And we try to find these pearls are these techniques. these literary terms that the poets generally use in these poems. Okay, anybody among you, do you know the rhymes? Any rhyme? Can you sing any rhyme? Yes, Tabassum, any rhyme, or any verse, whatever you like. Yes, any verse of any song. Yes, yes, you can. Any verse of any song.
अभी मुझ में कहीं बाकी थोड़ी सी है जिंदगी, जगी धड़कन नहीं, जाना जिंदा हूँ मैं तो अभी, कुछ ऐसी लगन इस लम्हे में है, ये लम्हा कहाँ था मेरा, अब है सामने, इसे छू लूं जरा, मर जाऊं या जी लो जरा, खुशियाँ चूम लूं या
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Cheers for us. Cheers. Okay, now I have already recited this poem. Now I wish I have already even given you the poetic techniques used by the poet in this poem and other techniques as well. But I hope that now let us together recite the poem once again, so that we can feel a kind of enjoyment, because this is poetry that gives us enjoyment. And you will sing with me. You have the poem with you? Yes, sir. Okay, then all of us will recite it together. Okay? I'll start. Lightly, oh lightly, we bear her along. She sways like a flower in the wind of our song. Again. Lightly, oh lightly, we bear her along. She sways like a flower in the wind of our song. She skims like a bird on the foam of a stream.
She floats like a laugh from the lips of
Once
a
again.
dream.
She skims like a bird on the foam of a stream. She floats like a laugh from the lips of a dream. Gaily, oh gaily, we glide and we sing. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. Gaily, oh gaily, we glide and we sing. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. Softly, oh softly, we bear her along. She
hangs like a star in the dew of her song.
Again. Softly, oh softly, we bear her along. She hangs like a star in the dew of her song. She springs like a beam on the brow of the tide. She falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride. She springs like a beam on the brow of the tide. She falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride. Lightly, oh lightly, we
glide and sing. We bear her along like a bird on a string.
Lightly, oh lightly, we glide and we sing. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. Thank you very much. And once again, you know why this recitation is there must? Because in prose, if you try to remember a passage, you cannot remember the words, all the words written in a passage or in a paragraph. But while you recite, when you recite a poem in this way, all the words from beginning to end, you will remember them. this is very important. That's why we try to recite this kind of poem. Thank you. Is there any question from you?
Thank you so much for such a wonderful lecture, गुलाम हसन वार साहब. अगर मैंने थोड़ी सी पोइटिक डिवाइसेस सीखी होंगी तो मैंने आज के लेक्चर के लिए आपके लिए एक डिवाइस बनाई. इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग यू टीच लाइक ए सॉन्ग. नाजरीन, इसी के साथ एक छोटा सा वक्फा लेंगे. वक्फे के बाद फिर हाजिर होंगे. वेलकम बैक टू द टेली क्लासरूम. नाजरीन, हमारी आपसे ये इस्तिदा रहेगी कि जब भी आप हमें कॉल करें तो अपने टीवी सेट का वॉल्यूम या तो बंद कीजिएगा या बिल्कुल ही कम कीजिएगा ताकि हम आपकी आवाज़ गौर से सुन लें. हमारा पहले कॉलर जो हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं मोहम्मद शाहिद. अस्सलाम वालेकुम. वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम.
वालेकुम सलाम सर.
जी, अपना सवाल कीजिएगा.
जी सर, हमें ये इसमें डिफरेंस बताइए. ये ना ये जो इसमें ये पोएटिक डिवाइस और हाइपर बॉक्स में.
अच्छा, पोएटिक डिवाइसेस एंड हाइपरबोले में हमें डिफरेंस बताइए. डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन द पोएटिक डिवाइसेस एंड हाइपरबोले.
जी
प्लीज सर. गुलाम अहमद भट्ट साहब,
इसमें बताइए कि कहाँ पर हम यूज कर सकते हैं.
अच्छा, कहाँ पर हम इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं इस चीज को.
अपने सेंटेंसेस में भी कहाँ पर कर सकते हैं.
अपने सेंटेंसेस में भी अगर हम इनको इस्तेमाल करना चाहें तो हम कहाँ इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं.
बेसिकली जो ये पोएटिक डिवाइस की बात करते हैं, हाइपरबोले इज वन ऑफ द टेक्निक्स. इट इज so far as the hyperbole and other things are concerned, they come under this option, poetic devices, which War Sahib has well defined.
This is one of the devices.
This is one of the devices which is used in the
like that of a simile, like that of a metaphor and other things. Other things. This is just exaggeration. What a thing is, and we exaggerate it beyond that. That's what actually hyperbole is. I have a Kashmiri here. Bal wankan curl yeli lagiye shumar curl gandranas lagne lachtai hazar. Even that is a simple work, but see how the poet uses it in a different way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. जी, हमारे अगले कॉलर हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं फरहान हसन. वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम. हेलो, वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
जी, वेलकम.
सर, आपके जो यहाँ पर मेहमान है मिस्टर गुलाम हसन वार सर जी, वो मेरे उस्ताद रह चुके हैं.
जी, बताइए.
सर, मैं आपकी स्टूडेंट हूँ. फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट गर्ल्स हायर सेकेंडरी स्कूल.
वेलकम
सर. आई एम फ्रॉम अरीना. सर, आप रिमेम्बर कर चुके होंगे.
यस, आई रिमेम्बर.
सर, नाइस एफर्ट एज यूजुअल. आज आपने अपना कमाल दिखाई दिया.
It was really a wonderful lecture. It was really wonderful and so poetic lecture we have seen in this studio. बहुत अच्छा लेक्चर था. आप भी ये लेक्चर देख रहे हैं, उसके लिए बहुत शुक्रिया.
थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू.
हमारे साथ जो अगले कॉलर हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं वो है दानिश फ्रॉम पुलवामा. दानिश साहब, वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम.
Sir, first of all, it's congratulations to you that you organized it. An important topic about the English test poetic devices.
बिल्कुल. आपका भी बहुत शुक्रिया कि आप हमारा प्रोग्राम देख रहे हैं. आप नाजरीन की वजह से हमारा प्रोग्राम इंशाल्लाह कामयाब होगा. आप अपनी आराह से भी हमें नवाजना चाहें तो हमें मेल कर सकते हैं ddksrinagar@gmail.com and ddksrinagar@yahoo.com.
Sir, I don't have any question, but I have a suggestion that Ghulam sir, please try to tell them about the basic classification of the poems. That's just like elegy, epic, and epitaph and epigram. Sir, please, sir.
Basic classification of the poems.
Basic classification of the poems, War Sahib has well done. Like for instance, he has well said, lyric is there, ode is there, elegy is there. All these are the different kinds of poetries.
That is in 9th and 10th.
That is in 9th and 10th.
जी, हमारे साथ एक और कॉलर जुड़े हैं मुदस्सिर अहमद कंगन से हमें फ़ोन कर रहे हैं। अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, खैर मकदम है आपका हमारे प्रोग्राम में।
वालेकुम सलाम मैम।
जी बोलिए।
मुदस्सिर साहब अपना सवाल कीजिएगा।
हेलो,
अपना सवाल। हेलो मुदस्सिर साहब, आप हमारी आवाज़ आ रही है? गालिबन शायद लाइन ड्रॉप हुई है, गालिबन लाइन ड्रॉप हुई है। तो तब तक वार साहब आप मुझे एक चीज़ बताइए, रॉबर्ट फ्रोस्ट का कहना है पोइट्री इज ए काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स पोइट्स राइट। अगर हम इसमें टेक्निक्स इस्तेमाल ना करें क्या ये पोइट रहेगी?
No, in any of the poems, any of the verses, you will definitely find a technique.
जी.
Technique. Whatever the technique the poets use, there is definitely a technique. So, without a technique, we cannot say a verse, but we can say it is a sentence as in a prose. So, these techniques make it as a poetry.
अच्छा, आपने एक और चीज़ अभी बोला, if I say like this, I am feeling like a ton.
I am feeling like a
ton.
Okay.
T-U-N ton. I am feeling like a ton. Is it a technique?
Yes, because there is simile. Definitely.
What technique is it exactly?
This is simile, tashbiyah.
अच्छा, तशबीह
When we
जिसको हम बोलते हैं।
comparison,
Comparison.
It is a comparison.
Comparison.
This is the
अच्छा, एक और नेक्स्ट कॉलर हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, हुमैरा। AR रहमान, AR रैना, वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम रैना साहब।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
सर हम आपके बहुत शुक्रगुजार हैं कि ऐसे प्रोग्राम आजकल हो रहे हैं, हम बहुत शुक्रगुजार हैं सर आपके।
जी जी जी।
लेकिन हमारी गुजारिश है कि जैसे ये टेली क्लासरूम में ये दिखाते हैं, क्या ऐसे क्लासरूम में आमतौर पर होता है जो हमारी अपनी क्लासेस लगती हैं स्कूलों में?
जी।
मेरी गुजारिश है सर से कि जैसे यहाँ सिखाते हैं, जैसे टीवी पर हम देखते हैं, क्या ऐसे क्लासरूम में होता है, प्रैक्टिकली ऐसा हो रहा है, ऐसे क्लासेस हो रहे हैं?
Definitely, I use all the techniques in my classroom, and one of the students was she was calling me, and I hope that all the teachers they would use the same techniques, and I use these.
आपकी कतकलाफी के लिए माफी चाहता हूँ। बेंगलोर से एक कॉलर हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं जिनका नाम गुलामुद्दीन। वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम।
हेलो सर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम, वेलकम टू टेली क्लासरूम।
जी जी, मैं गुलामुद्दीन सोफी बोल रहा हूँ बेंगलोर से।
जी जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कॉलिंग।
वेलकम।
जी, मुझे इससे गुलाम हसन वार साहब से पूछना था। बहुत ही अच्छा प्रोग्राम चल रहा था, तो ये इमेजरी और मेटाफर में क्या फर्क है?
इमेजिनरी और मेटाफर में क्या फर्क है?
Metaphor. So metaphor is actually a comparison that poets do without using the words like or as.
In simple, we can say call one thing by another name. That is metaphor.
And imagery, that means that when we say any metaphor or in imagery, any kind of image comes to our mind. Because I've already told you there are different images. For example, we say visual image. Visual image. So something comes.
If it is not wrong, अगर मैं ऐसा कहूँ, if somebody is like a mother, she is mother, क्या मैं इस्तेमाल कर सकता हूँ?
Yeah, why not?
ये लफ्ज मतलब if she is nurturing, caring, बहुत केयर करने वाली।
She is mother.
She is mother.
Why not?
Is it the same word जो metaphor का इस्तेमाल किया?
That is metaphor there.
That's metaphor.
Even personification is there. If we, for example, there's a river that is just we can say a river is flowing, and an image comes to your mind that there is something, water is there. Flowing water, so this is image.
मैं भट्ट साहब आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा, क्या रीज़न है कि हमें उर्दू के मिसरे तो याद रहते हैं, कश्मीरी के मिसरे याद रहते हैं, अंग्रेजी के कपलेट हम हमेशा भूल जाते हैं? What is the reason for that? क्या हमारे क्लासेस में पोइट्री इतनी अच्छी से पढ़ाई नहीं जाती है या और भी कुछ?
Sir, basically, so far as English is concerned, is a foreign language. We don't have always subject-specific teachers in our classrooms. For instance, we have Mr. War here. He's a capable teacher, of course. It is his specialization is in English. We don't have in our schools everywhere the subject-specific teachers. That is the reason. We don't subject teachers because for teaching English effectively, we require subject-specific teachers. Because our teachers can be competent. We have competent teachers, no doubt, but they are from other fields sometimes. From mathematics, from social science, from other backgrounds. But we have a little number of teachers who have specialization in English. That is the reason our general line teachers, they cannot do fully justice with the teaching of English. That is the reason.
Teaching of English. Thank you, sir. We have another caller, Mustamil Ahmad साहब हमें कॉल कर रहे हैं जम्मू से. अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
जी खैर मकदम है आपका प्रोग्राम है.
Thank you. मैं मुजम्मिल बोल रहा हूँ. I'm calling from Jammu.
Welcome to Tele Classroom.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I want to speak to Ghulam Hassan War sahab.
Okay, sir.
Sir, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Muzammil.
Sir, this is Muzammil from Jammu.
Welcome, most welcome. Please.
अपना सवाल कीजिएगा.
I don't have a question, but I want to hail the efforts that the initiative that has been taken by DD Kashmir.
Good. Thank you so much. आप जैसे व्यूअर्स हमारा प्रोग्राम इसी इंटरेस्ट के साथ देखेंगे, हमें अपनी आरा से नवाजेंगे, हम इंशाल्लाह इस प्रोग्राम को इससे अच्छे प्लेटफॉर्म पे ले जाएंगे.
And definitely, and I want to make a point here. Ghulam Hassan War Sahab is a very tall figure among all the teachers in our area, and he has been serving untiringly and with so much of effort.
जी. Thank you. हमारे साथ एक और कॉलर जुड़े हैं, तारिक हसन फ्रॉम तुजर.
Thank you.
तुजर शरीफ. तारिक हसन फ्रॉम तुजर शरीफ. एक और कॉलर जुड़े हैं हमारे साथ. वेलकम टू द टेल क्लासरूम, तारिक हसन साहब. हेलो तारिक हसन साहब, आपको आवाज आ रही है? गालिबन लाइन ड्रॉप हुई है.
जी बर साहब, मेरा भी आपसे एक छोटा सा सवाल है. Actually, I want to know, is there any poem without these poetic devices?
That can be prose. If we say,
if there is no technique, no poetic devices, then
because
that is not poetry.
Poetry is the language of emotions and feelings. Therein, it is very much important to apply these techniques and devices. In fact, there was a question from the student side.
Yeah,
what was the question, please?
The question was from Tabassum. Tabassum, she asked, I think.
What's the role of poetry in teaching?
Role of poetry. So far as poetry is concerned, it is the language of emotions and feelings, which we cannot sometimes express certain things through prose that we can express through emotion. This poetry. Say, for instance, we use symbolic language, we use similes, metaphors, and other poetic devices that helps us to express our emotions.
एक और कॉलर हमारे साथ यहाँ जुड़े हैं, मारूफा फ्रॉम द खानियार. वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम, मारूफा जी.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम.
सबसे पहले मैं आपको मुबारकबाद देना चाहूंगी इस प्रोग्राम के लिए.
थैंक यू सो मच.
जी बहुत ही अच्छा प्रोग्राम जा रहा है.
थैंक यू सो मच.
I have a question. What is the differentiate between metaphor and the simile?
ये पहली एक बार एक सवाल पूछा गया, इसका जवाब शायद वार साहब ने दिया. फिर एक बार आप अगर इसका जवाब देना चाहेंगे ताकि कॉलर हमारे साथ जुड़े थे.
War Sahab has well defined simile and metaphor. Simile means when we compare one thing with another. He is like a rose or she is like a rose. This is simile. We use word like and as. But insofar as the metaphor is concerned, therein we call one thing by a particular name. Say if some brave person is, if we say, for instance, she is rose. We don't use as or like. Then we say she is rose. वो गुलाब है. That is we are using metaphor. We give direct name to.
जैसे हम अभी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, वार साहब is a poet.
He is poet.
Is a poet. तो मैं नाज़रीन आपको बताता चलूँ, वार साहब मैं मेटाफर इस्तेमाल नहीं कर रहा हूँ, बिल्कुल वार साहब एक poet भी है और हमारे जो 10th क्लास के निसाब में है इनकी कुछ poets भी शामिल हैं. मैं आपसे बट साहब जी कॉलर है हमारे साथ, एक और कॉलर जुड़े हैं, साइका जी. वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम.
हमें ये क्वेश्चन था कि डिफरेंस बिटवीन refrain and
what is the difference between
refrain and alliteration?
Alliteration and
alteration and
refrain and alliteration.
Refrain and alteration. These are two different poetic techniques. Alliteration, this is the repetition of words, consonant sounds in the beginning, in the initial sound of the words. For example, the words that I have given here, gaily, oh gaily we glide. So, g, isn't it so? And g, this is alliteration. And the second is refrain. Refrain means where the poets use different same words, phrases, even lines. It may be a word, it may be a phrase, it may be a line. Because this can be in the beginning of a line, a stanza, or at the end of a stanza. because this creates the musical effect that is repeated by the poet.
Repeated by the poet, which creates the musical effect.
That is refrain. That is refrain.
Even sir, a singer also sometimes repeats some part of a verse. To give it a musical effect.
जैसे कि आदि वर्स को भी हम रिपीट कर सकते हैं। मुझे ज़िमनन अपना बचपन याद आता, हम राइम्स में पढ़ते थे, जॉनी जॉनी यस पापा यस पापा यस पापा, लाइक दैट। पापा क्रिएट्स, एक तो हमें उससे राइम याद रहती थी, एक म्यूजिकल इफेक्ट अच्छा आता था।
एग्जैक्टली सर, एग्जैक्टली।
आपसे एक सवाल पूछना चाहूंगा भट्ट साहब, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन आयरनी एंड द कंट्रास्ट? दीज आर टू डिवाइसेस व्हिच आर यूज्ड इन द डिवाइस व्हिच आर यूज्ड इन द पोएट्री। व्हाट इज कंट्रास्ट? हम पहले आप एक कॉल लेते हैं, हम पहले एक कॉल लेते हैं। हमारे साथ कॉलर जुड़े हैं विनायक शर्मा, विनायक मिश्रा फ्रॉम ओडिशा। वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम।
यस सर।
विनायक जी, वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम। अपना सवाल कीजिएगा।
यस सर। सर, आई एम वेरी मच थैंकफुल टू हसन सर. By the way, I opened the TV and I saw your program. It was quite nice, and
thank you so much.
I also saw it. It is quite lively. Now, my question is that what is the difference between ode and elegy?
What is the difference between
ode and elegy?
Ji, yeah, please.
Okay, sir. These are two different poetic forms.
Genres.
For poetic genres. Yes, yes, poetic genres, poetic kinds. And in ode, it is a song that can be sung. But
no, ode is a song and elegy
is a song. But that is mourning, a song where we mourn on the death of somebody. But in ode we can sing anything.
एक और कॉलर हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, आयशा हुसैन, आशिक हुसैन फ्रॉम रेनावारी। आशिक साहब, आपका खैर मकदम है प्रोग्राम में। वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
जनाब, मैं आपका प्रोग्राम लाइव देख रहा हूँ।
जी जी जी, बिल्कुल। थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो मच।
हाँ, मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है कि मैं कल सुबह वो क्या कहते हैं, ये हमारा हाजनी, प्रोफेसर हाजनी, उसका कश्मीरी प्रोग्राम देख रहा था।
जी।
तो मैंने क्या देखा उसमें कि वो भी कुछ पोइट्री, कश्मीरी पोइट्री।
जी बिल्कुल, वो एक पोइट है हमारे।
ठीक, हमारे रिनाउंड पोइट है।
पोइट है, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
समझा रहे थे कि हम कैसे कश्मीरी में अपनी लैंग्वेज में अपने पॉइंट को एक्सप्रेस करते हैं।
जी।
हम उसमें कितना लोल भरते हैं।
जी।
ठीक, तो जो ये प्रोग्राम है, मैं नहीं डिस्करेज कर रहा हूँ कि इंग्लिश पोइम ना कीजिएगा, इंग्लिश पोइट्री पढ़िए।
जी, मैं आपसे इस्तीदा यूं करूंगा, ये एक क्लासरूम
कर सकते हैं।
जी, ये एक इंग्लिश क्लास है। जी जी, आशिक साहब आप सुनिए, ये एक इंग्लिश क्लास है जिसमें हम इंग्लिश पोइट्री के डिवाइसेस को सीखते हैं। हमारे प्रोग्राम का मकसद और मुद्दा यूं होता है कि हम बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स पे डिस्कस करते हैं। हमारे फाजिल उस्ताद आते हैं, टीचर बुलाते हैं, हम फाजिल उस्ताद आते हैं, वो उस चीज़ पे लेक्चर डिलीवर करते। और आज ज़िमनन हमारा जो टॉपिक था वो पोइटिक डिवाइसेस इन इंग्लिश था, इंग्लिश टॉपिक था। एक और कॉलर हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, आदिल अहमद फ्रॉम शुपैया। आदिल साहब, वेलकम टू द टेली क्लासरूम।
वालेकुम सर।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
मेरा आप सभी का शुक्रिया अदा है सर, आपने बेस्ट प्रोग्राम यहाँ पर परफॉर्म किया है सर।
जी, थैंक यू सो मच।
सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर जो पोइटिक डिवाइस है ना सर, वो मतलब पोइट एक दो तरह के वर्ड्स यूज करते हैं, वेज।
जी जी जी।
लिटरेरी वे एंड दूसरा नॉन लिटरेरी वे।
जी।
जो एक लिटरेरी वे एंड नॉन लिटरेरी वे, सर आप इसको सर इलाबोरेट कीजिए सर।
बट साहब
क्या सर,
जो सवाल किया हमारा
विजिलरी एंड नॉन विजिलरी,
रिपीट। नाज़रीन, पहले वक्त हुआ चलता है एक छोटे से वक्फे का, वक्फे के बाद फिर हाजिर होंगे। नाज़रीन, आप देख रहे थे लाइव टेली क्लासरूम का आज का शुमारा। नाज़रीन, आप इस प्रोग्राम का रिपीट टेलीकास्ट देख सकते हैं ऑन ट्यूसडे 7:30 PM एंड ऑन थर्सडे एट 9-10 AM ऑल्सो। तो अगर आप अपनी आरा से हमें नवाजना चाहते हैं, कोई भी सजेशन है प्रोग्राम के बारे में, तो उसके लिए आप हमें मेल कर सकते हैं ddksrinagar@gmail.com and ddksrinagar@yahoo.com।
नाज़रीन, इसी के साथ हमारे प्रोग्राम का वक्त खत्म हुआ जाता है। हमें दीजिए इजाजत। अल्लाह निगहबान।